We're turning the prime drink into a jelly candy or a honey jelly, but we're not going to be using honey. Instead, we're making our own mixture from scratch. We're going to go with the white prime drink, which is Metamoon flavor, which I don't know what flavor that is, but we're going to be turning it into a jelly. First, we're going to pour a cup of the drink into a pan. Then we're adding 2 cups of sugar and 1 tablespoon of corn syrup. We're then going to boil it until it becomes a thick syrup consistency. We then quickly cool it off in really cold water. Place the syrup we made into the bottle. We then just freeze it overnight and your prime jelly candy is done. I overfroze mine, so I ran it under some hot water. But it worked. It was able to turn into a frozen jelly and the flavor was all right. I still didn't know what the flavor was, but it was pretty sweet. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. This time we're turning the pink prime drink into a frozen honey jelly or frozen jelly candy. But this time we're making it extremely sour because the last one we made was just sweet. So I'm adding a couple of toxic waste candies to the mixture. I'm then adding a cup of the prime drink and 2 cups of sugar. I then boil the ingredients until they become a thick syrup consistency. I then quickly cool it off with some really cold water. And to help the jelly look really cool when it comes out of the bottle, I added some edible glitter. After that, I placed it into the prime bottle and then I froze it for 24 hours. And then it was done. It was a little tough to squeeze out, but it did work and it actually turned into a frozen honey jelly. And it actually came out pretty good. It was actually sour, but not too sour. And it also makes pretty good ooze tube candy. Today we're turning prime energy into candy. And this is really easy because we're only using sugar, water, and some of these prime energy go packets. We're going to be boiling 2 cups of water, 1 cup of the prime energy liquid, and then 1 little pack of the prime go packets. We're going to boil it until it turns into a syrupy, thick, gooey liquid. Then we're going to quickly cool it down in some really cold water. Then we're going to put it back inside the prime can, throw it in the freezer for about 24 hours. Then after that, the candy should be done and you just have to squeeze it out of the can. I was going to add citric acid, but I forgot to add it. So the candy wasn't very good because it wasn't very sour. I give it a 5 out of 10. I replicated this candy right here and I made my own version. It's an icy squeeze candy. It's really similar to ooze tube candy, which is basically an extremely sour syrup candy inside a little squeeze bottle. I made an extremely sour watermelon flavor using 1 whole watermelon. First, I'm extracting the watermelon juice from the watermelon. Then I'm going to be boiling a cup of that juice with 2 cups of sugar and 2 tablespoons of citric acid. Once the mixture turns into a syrup consistency, I then put the mixture in some ice and let it cool down. I then place it into a little squeeze bottle and the candy actually turned out pretty good. Tastes like watermelon and really sour. I'm going to be turning this watermelon into a frozen honey jelly or jelly candy. It also makes a great ooze tube candy, but we're making it blue, so we're going to be adding this blueberry soda to the watermelon. This way we're adding blueberry flavor to the mixture and it becomes blue. But they're going to strain it because we only want the juice. We're then going to boil 1 cup of the juice we just strained, 2 cups of sugar, and then 1 tablespoon of citric acid because we're trying to make it really sour. We're then going to boil it until it becomes a thick syrup consistency. We're then quickly cooling it off with some really cold water. And it's done. The syrup to make frozen honey jelly is done. If you freeze it overnight, it's going to turn into a honey jelly candy. But you can also eat it as is, and it makes great ooze tube candy. It's actually good and sour. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Okay, we're going to be trying these 3 different flavors Starburst packets as a frozen syrup jelly. Okay, so I got 3 different flavors. I got strawberry, blue raspberry, and cherry. I feel like all these flavored drinks always use the same flavors. Let's see if they taste different. We're going to be mixing them with water. The colors do end up looking a little different than all the other flavors I do. Now we're just going to freeze them for a couple hours. Out of the 3, I think the cherry was the best one. The one that was not good at all was the strawberry, but I think I just don't like strawberry flavor. For this video, we're going to be trying the Skittles Variety Pack Sticks. We're doing another syrup jelly. This time, we're only going to be trying 3 of these flavors. We're skipping strawberry because I feel like all these powdered drinks always have strawberry. But we're going to be mixing it up this time because we're going to be using these little bottles right here. But let me tell you why we're using these little bottles. We're going to be adding some sour Halloween Skittles. Since they're Skittles flavor, we're going to be adding actual Skittles to them. Let's add them to the little barrel. A little bit of corn syrup this time. We're just gonna freeze them for about 24 hours. Here they are. I actually let them freeze for like 3 days. I forgot all about them. Okay, so this one's green apple, grape, and orange. This is corn syrup, so we can't eat a lot of it. So we're just going to squeeze it and have a little whisk. So these actually make good syrup jellies. Not the orange one though. It wasn't very good. I had Frozies the other day and I thought they were going to turn into honey jelly. Anyways, I saw this at the store and I had to get it. They have grape, strawberry, and cherry flavor. But anyways, I'm going to be turning them into a syrup jelly. I'm only going to be using corn syrup. Anyways, let's get our little bottles ready. Now we're going to put the drink mixes into these little containers so that we can easily mix them with water. Adding a tiny bit of water on each one of them. Now we just add the corn syrup to the bottles and then we freeze them. Okay, it's 24 hours later and here they are. Let's have a little wisp of the strawberry one. Squeeze it out. The cherry one. Grape. Usually these are very satisfying to squeeze, but for some reason these were kind of liquidy. The only good one was the cherry. The other ones just tasted like syrup. Okay, we're going to be trying another variety pack of flavored drinks. Packet flavored drinks, but this time it's going to be Skittles tropical flavors. Flavors are going to be mango tangelo, strawberry starfruit, kiwi lime, and pineapple passion fruit. And we're going to be using these little bottles again. Let's see how they taste as a frozen syrup jelly. We got to mix them with water first because these don't mix very well with syrup. Pour it in the little bottle. Here they are. I'm hoping they mix pretty well. We're going to be freezing them for 24 hours. It's the next day, but we have to go ahead and hurry because it's hot outside and these are going to melt. That was perfect. I don't know, these weren't all that good. The only good one was the pineapple passion fruit. I don't like cotton candy, but I found this Kool-Aid one, so I'm going to mix it with some Kool-Aid syrup, and maybe it'll taste good. But look how watery it is. I'm going to have to heat it up and condense it. And here's the cotton candy. It tastes pretty good. It tastes like blueberry. We're going to heat it up into a thicker syrup. It's all done. Now we're going to freeze it in this bottle. I froze it for 24 hours, and it froze solid. It tastes pretty well. It tastes like cherry Kool-Aid. It just doesn't freeze very well to have that satisfying honey squeeze. These are limited edition, so I had to grab them. This one is pumpkin spice, and this one is candy corn. And look, they even come with edible glitter. I love pumpkin spice. We're gonna freeze it, but I don't know if it's gonna work, because look how runny it is. We're gonna add a bunch of Halloween-themed sprinkles. But we're gonna make 2 versions. One is gonna be pure pumpkin spice, and we're gonna add some corn syrup on the other one. We're gonna see if it turns into syrup jelly. 7 hours later. Okay, you can already tell that the pumpkin spice did not freeze. Yeah, it didn't work. We'll try the corn syrup one. You just have to add corn syrup, so you can actually make a frozen syrup jelly with this pumpkin spice syrup. Let's make a Coca-Cola jelly bottle. First, we're gonna use this bottle cap candy. I'm using cola specifically. Now we just dissolved the cola flavor. I'm going to add some cherry Kool-Aid to make it taste like a cherry cola. I'm gonna use a dark syrup only because it already looks like soda. Now I'm going to add some silver sprinkles to help it look fizzy. Fill up your bottle. Freeze it! 4 hours later. I love cherry cola. Oh, this is the best one. Let's make a nerds one. We're gonna use some clear corn syrup, some watermelon flavor, and obviously the nerds. Let's add the corn syrup, now the watermelon flavor. Mix that up. Now add your nerds. You can really add any tiny candy you like. Now fill up your bottle. This is gonna be a little hard. It took a while, but now let's freeze it. Okay, I froze it for 5 hours. Whoa, why is it sour? You know what? Never mind. This one's the best. Wow, this one melted way too fast. I'm gonna try and make a bottle jelly only using cotton candy. Just kidding, I forgot I'm gonna use water. Cotton candy is all sugar, so I think this should work. I ended up using a lot of cotton candy, but it does look syrupy now. Might just be my lighting, but it looks like a purple blue. You know what? Let's go for that purple color. Time to place it inside the bottle. Okay, let's freeze it. 6 hours later. It's good. I don't like cotton candy though. Okay, for this one, we're making a glue honey jelly. And don't worry, we're not really using glue. They're nice and clean. Let's start filling them up. First, the red one. We're gonna add some edible glitter. Now we're gonna be using cherry ooze tube. And we're also gonna add a little bit of warhead squeeze candy. Mix it up. Now for the blue one. Adding some edible glitter. Then we just add the blue ooze tube candy. Mix it up. Freeze them for 24 hours. Okay, they're frozen. Now you can prank some people and pretend you're eating glue. Let's make a blue Gatorade. Let's use some clear syrup. I'm gonna mix in this ooze tube to make it blue raspberry. Mix that up. I'm gonna use a little bit of blue food coloring, just to darken the color. Now to make it sparkle, I'm gonna use some sanding sugar. Silver looks best. Now we fill up the whole bottle. We're gonna freeze it for 4 hours. Kinda looks like it froze solid. Nope, it's good. Frozen fruit roll-ups. Let's mix two trends together. First, stack a couple of fruit roll-ups and freeze them. These freeze so quick, they were only in my freezer for 20 minutes. I'm gonna crush them into little crumbs. They freeze really quick, but they also defrost really quick. Now I'm gonna add some clear syrup. I wanted them to act like sprinkles, but they kind of clump up a little bit. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna add a little bit of grape flavor. Now we'll store it in a little bottle. I'm going to throw it in the freezer for 5 hours. Time for a taste test. They're still pretty crunchy. I think they're better on their own though. I'm going to try and make an extremely sour bottle jelly. I'm gonna add some warheads. Some toxic waste candy. More warheads. Some Sour Patch. Now some sour slime. Some ooze tube. Sour flush. Sour drops. Sugar powder. I think it worked. It's good. Let's try and make our own syrup using Fanta soda. We're gonna heat it up to condense it. I haven't tried this, but I think it will work. Soda has a bunch of sugar, so I should be able to make it into a syrup. I'm gonna use about 4. I'm gonna let it cool off. I think this actually might work. I'm gonna add some sandy sugar though, just to make it sparkle. Okay, let's fill up our bottle. Now we just freeze it. I left it overnight. It looks darker. Might have froze solid, I don't know. You know what? It looks like the first one I made. Still pretty sugary, but yeah, pretty good. Supposedly soda from Mexico is sweeter. It should be perfect for a jelly bottle. I'm gonna add some Haribo Happy Cola. Maybe these will help out with the gummy texture. It looks a bit watery, but let's test it. I'm gonna add some silver sugar sprinkles. Place it inside a bottle. Now we freeze it. I think it might have caramelized because it looks brown now. It's literally syrup made from soda. Did this go bad or something? Nope. Let's make a strawberry honey jelly. First, I'll add some strawberry Starburst. Now that it's nice and melted, let's add some condensed milk. You know, it smells like a smoothie. Let's add Hershey's strawberry. Okay, I'm gonna use this Nesquik bottle. Now, we're filling up the whole bottle with clear syrup. Shake it up. Freeze it. Did I do it wrong? I think it's solid. Seven out of 10, it's good. Let's make the famous tahini bottle jelly. First, we're gonna add some mango melon Starburst. Perfect, nice and melted. This is what's gonna give it the color. I'm always eating these. You can't even see the orange anymore. Add some gummy worm powder. Now we add the tahini. Now we add some silver sugar sprinkles just to make it pretty. Mix it all up, put it inside a bottle, fill up the bottle with clear syrup, freeze it. Perfect. Oh, it's good. I'm gonna try and make a Kool-Aid bottle jelly. I don't think this has enough sugar, but let's give it a try. It evaporated. We'll just have to add some more. And we're gonna add some syrup. Should work now, even though I was trying not to use syrup. It smells pretty good. I'll just add some sanding sugar. Now we just freeze it overnight. So I froze it and it worked. So I made a purple one. Kool-Aid works, but it melts in less than 5 minutes. A lot of you wanted me to try and make this honey jelly out of this pancake syrup. I mean, it should work, right? Sugar is the main reason this stuff turns into jelly when frozen. And this syrup is mostly all sugar, so I think it'll work. We have to fill it up to the top. Okay, let's see how long it takes to freeze. Okay, so it took a bit longer than I thought. I left it in the fridge for 8 hours. So basically, overnight. I'm already sugared out. Let's make an ice cream bottle jelly using a ranch bottle. I'm gonna use sugar-free frosting, vanilla flavor. This frosting kind of looks like queso fresco. Now we're just gonna add a tiny bit of honey. The color kind of changed a bit, so we're gonna add a little bit of white food coloring. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna add chocolate sprinkles. I'm gonna try and imitate the seasoning flakes. Okay, I froze this for 3 hours because I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. It looks nasty, but it tastes like ice cream. Okay, the one we're making today is probably going to confuse some people. We're making a dish soap honey jelly, but don't worry, it's not really soap. We're going to be using some ooze tube. Okay, our bottle is nice and clean. Now let's start filling it up with some ooze tube. This one is sour apple, and then this one is watermelon. And then to make it a little extra sour, we're going to add some citric acid. Mix it up, pour it in the bottle. Now we just freeze it overnight. And it's 24 hours later. Let's test it out. It actually looks like soap. You can really prank somebody with this. Some of you wanted a sugar-free option. I have some sugar-free syrups. Let's see if they work. We have caramel, strawberry, chocolate, and maple. Let's fill up the strawberry, the chocolate. The caramel's color looks a bit boring, so I'm gonna add some red. Now we pour the maple. Now I'm gonna freeze them for 5 hours. 5 hours later. Let's try chocolate first. Didn't work. Now strawberry. Now the maple. Please, caramel better work. So they didn't work. That does not taste like Mountain Dew. I'll have to remake it. Into the collection it goes. Let's make a clear water bottle jelly. I ran out of syrup, so let's make it from scratch. I'm gonna heat up some sugar and some water. Oh no, it doesn't look clear. Okay, now it looks clear. I guess the sugar just needed to heat up. The clear bottle ones are the best looking ones. I feel like this might not work, so I'm gonna leave it for 24 hours. I forgot about it. I left it in there for 2 days. It didn't really work. Blah, don't taste good either. I don't like root beer. I'm gonna make a monster bottle jelly. I'm gonna add some warheads, Sour Patch, bottle pop, sour slime, some sour ooze tube, some gummy bears, finally some warheads. The sour slime and the ooze tube will definitely turn this into a bottle jelly. Let's freeze it. 5 hours later. Oh yeah, it's sour. Pretty sour, but good. Let's make a Jello jelly bottle. But we'll also make honey, cotton candy, and sprinkles. Let's make the classic honey first. Now the sprinkles. Now the Jello. Now the cotton candy. Add a tiny bit of syrup. We'll add a little bit of syrup to these two. Now we just freeze them. Okay, they're frozen. Anyways, I tried these three. I just never tried the Jello one before. Yo, the Jello one is actually pretty good. Okay, so I've seen people freeze Takis in a bottle, but is it actually good? First, I'm gonna crush the Takis into a Taki powder. Let's grind them up. I didn't grind it up too much because maybe it could still be crunchy after frozen, but I doubt it. Now we place them inside the bottle. Okay, so it's in the bottle, and now I'm gonna add some sour slime to it. This is what's gonna hold it together. Now we just freeze it, but we already have one made, so we don't have to wait. Let's test it out. That looks kind of gross. It's not that good. Kind of feels like I'm chewing on coconut shavings. That was way too watery. Let's try it again with something else. I don't have a Coca-Cola bottle, so I'm gonna be using this, but I got the new Cola Sour Patch Kids. First of all, if you haven't tried these, they're super delicious. We're melting them with some brown syrup to unlock their flavor. Once they're pretty much melted, we're gonna add some edible glitter. Now we're adding a bunch more Sour Patch Kids. Freeze it for 24 hours. To be honest, it doesn't taste like anything, so I'm gonna try and make it again, but it did look pretty. That does not feel like bubblegum. Today, let's make a simple one. You're gonna need some bottle cap candy. We're gonna use this one specifically. Dark corn syrup and some silver sugar sprinkles. Let's grind up the candy. Add the syrup, silver sprinkles. Now your bottle. Now fill the rest of it with more syrup. Freeze it. Okay, 4 hours later. Not my favorite flavor, but surprisingly pretty good. I don't like cotton candy, but I found this Kool-Aid one, so I'm gonna mix it with some Kool-Aid syrup and maybe it'll taste good. But look how watery it is. I'm gonna have to heat it up and condense it. And here's the cotton candy. It tastes pretty good. It tastes like blueberry. We're gonna heat it up into a thicker syrup. It's all done. Now we're gonna freeze it in this bottle. I froze it for 24 hours and it froze solid. It tastes pretty well. It tastes like cherry Kool-Aid. It just doesn't freeze very well to have that satisfying honey squeeze. Okay, you guys, I have a bunch of cotton candy left over, and I think I finally figured out how to melt this stuff properly so it could be edible. So we're not heating up anything this time, but we are going to melt this cotton candy with a little bit of water. Now we're going to add some clear syrup to the cotton candy mixture to thicken it up. Throw it in the freezer for 24 hours in this bottle. Okay, you guys, it actually worked, but I don't really like the flavor because I just don't like cotton candy, but it works. I got some Jolly Rancher flavors that I've never heard of before and some Starburst. Let's start melting them. We're going to be melting some of these new Jolly Rancher flavors, but we're only going to be melting some of the clear ones. Add some clear syrup. Now we just mix the pineapple ranchers with the syrup. Let it cool off. And we're gonna add some Starburst to the bottle and we're gonna fill it with syrup and then freeze it. I froze it for 24 hours, but as you can see, it's already a fail because the Starbursts are all at the bottom. It's not that bad though, it tastes like pineapple. So cotton candy doesn't make a very good frozen jelly. Okay, you guys, I just found out that if you melt all these airhead colors, they create a galaxy color. We have to melt one of each color in order for this to work. We just add a tiny bit of water and heat it up in the microwave for 30 seconds. Add some clear syrup, then add some edible glitter. This is how it looks. Now we just fill up the bottle and freeze it. And it's actually pretty good, but it's really sweet and it tastes a lot like grape.